I'm Larry Steinhouse, and welcome to Money Chat Now. Money Chat Now is a politically charged stock market pre-show, giving you the politics of the day and the biggest moves in the stock market. It is presented with comedic common sense and just the right amount of sarcasm by an expert in financial literacy, and hey, that's me, Larry Steinhouse. Today is July 13th, and I want to welcome you to the show. Of course, the guy at WWDB is asleep on the switch again, so we're not live right now on WWDB. I really want Sam Spicer to fire this guy, but what are you going to do? You can only have, so many people working so many times and doing their job. So please fire this guy, Sam Spicer. I think he needs to be fired. All right, we are not live, but we are live on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And of course, you can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and True Social, TikTok, and other social media by searching Larry Steinhouse. All right, also, once again, just a reminder, if you're watching online, hit that like button, hit that share button, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the Money Chat Now page on Facebook. You can comment live during the show on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, and please say hi so I know you're watching. By the way, if you're commenting from a group and it's not the Money Chat Now fan page, your name will not show up on my dashboard, so please go to Money Chat Now page and comment there so I can recognize you. Also, you need to go to the Money Chat Now page in order to watch us on Facebook, because once again, it's not transmitting to my page because I'm in Facebook jail. So between WWDB and Facebook, I don't know, if anybody's watching this show, let me know, because I'm not even sure anybody can watch it anymore. All right, you can also attend a complimentary class tomorrow by going to investorschooling.com, and there you will learn about real estate investing and stock options trading from those who do it every day. All right, on today's show, we're going to be discussing the recap and the update, the latest on Twitter and 3 Arrow. We're going to be talking about a subject that I call the Fool and the Sheik. You're going to really want to do that. You want to watch that one. And also, of course, pre-earnings follies. Hey, let's talk about the recap and update. Yesterday started out to be a pretty good day, but then it turned bad around 3 o'clock. At 3:30, the Dow was down about 300 points. It came back a little to finish down 192 points. The S&P was down 53, and the NASDAQ, of course, was down 108. I was so surprised at the ending, I had to refresh my screen a few times before I believed it. I actually thought that it was going to be good. I couldn't believe it. It actually was started out a good day. But the 3 big movers even surprised me more. They were the travel stocks, including American Airlines, United Airlines, and Carnival Cruise Line. But let's go back and talk about what spooked the market at the end of the day. Well, it was really simple. The consumer price index was due out at 8:30, and that will set the tone of the market today and probably the rest of the week. The CPI is the measurement that gauges inflation. So headline CPI is expected to rise by about 1.1% compared with 1% in May, so it's still going to be higher again. According to Dow Jones, that means. And the one-year comparison is expected to be 8.8%, up from May's 8.6%, which, by the way, was the highest since 1981. Not good. All right, the energy prices play a big factor into these numbers, and we all know that gas prices were at their highest in June when they hit an average of about $5.01 a gallon. And they are now down to about $4.63 a gallon, so it may not be bad. A few signs, by the way, that the CPI may be falling or settling are costs of furnishings, electronics, and clothing, and even airfare has settled into a price range and is not increasing as fast as it did at the beginning of the year. Economists expect housing costs to continue to show strong gains, adding to both headline and core inflation. The CPI number will help the Fed determine a 50 or 75-point basis increase. Now, the CPI report is always a double-edged sword, as if it comes in too high, then of course inflation is still running amok, and that means a 75-point basis increase or a 100-point basis increase. It could even be that high. If the CPI comes in too low, then it looks like a recession is clearly here on the horizon. So there needs to be a sweet spot to the investors. The problem is I don't know that sweet spot, and frankly, I'm not even sure if the investors know it either. Friday will be another report, and that will be the retail sales report and the same consequences. So we'll have to see what that report is on Friday. So it's a big day today, and it all starts in about a half an hour after this show ends. So watch the futures change right around 8:30 this morning. Look, you don't even need to see the report because the aftermath is all we need to know about. Meanwhile, investors will monitor second quarter corporate earnings as major banks are set to report this week. JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley are slated to report results tomorrow before the bell. Delta Airline reports the bell before the bell today, and that could be the report that sends the airline stocks soaring. Look, I think we're at the top of the inflation mark now. I really do. I think it can't. I mean, how much more can it go higher before people revolt and stop buying stuff? The only thing that's causing inflation to be a problem, of course, is the supply and demand issues at the moment. Look, the supply chain obviously is still slow, but we have seen signs that that problem is correcting itself, unless, of course, you need baby formula. Let's go, Brandon. Hey, by the way, if you're seeing changes, take a look and see if you're seeing changes or prices or low inventory. Leave me a comment on Facebook or anywhere else, LinkedIn or Twitter, and let me know if you're seeing price changes anywhere or having shortages of anything. I'm just curious to know what your experience has been. In our house, we're having trouble with almond milk, actually. So let me know what you're having trouble with finding, and let's take a look at the futures right now. Right now, the Dow is up actually 66 points. That's pretty good. It's nice to see that the Dow is up 66 points. The S&P is also up about 13 points, and the NASDAQ is up about 60, almost 65 points. That's pretty good. But again, it means nothing. It means nothing until 8:30. So 8:30 is going to be everything. You'll actually see what will happen. All right. So the two hottest news stories and the most interesting lawsuits or legal actions are both Twitter and the Three Arrow Capital. I like law, and I like following lawsuits, so it's kind of interesting, so I'm watching this. But I've been reporting on both of them this week, and I thought I'd take a moment to catch you up on the information I have learned so far. All right, let's talk about Twitter first. Look, we know that Musk sent a termination letter to Twitter on Friday, and this termination letter included the reason why he was terminating, and it was basically the bot issue once again, and Musk claims there are more bots and fake accounts than Twitter is reporting and feels the company is not worth the price he offered because of this material fact. Twitter, on the other hand, he responded on Monday to Musk and basically told his lawyers that Twitter has actually been actively proving that Musk is wrong, and they have been and will continue to give him all the data he needs to prove the bots aren't as bad as Musk claims. So now, of course, Twitter is suing Musk by using a clause in a rule that is called specific performance. So I looked up specific performance. I actually knew what it was, but I wanted to really get a good definition. But specific performance clause and ruling is actually often found in real estate deals, and if the buyer walks from the deal, the seller could sue for specific performance, and the court could make the buyer consummate the transaction. Now, I also spent some time researching specific performance, and I concluded that it's a really difficult path for attorneys to try in court, and that it's also really difficult to enforce. There were certain conditions, actually it was about 12 of them, I'm not going to mention them all, but there were actually 12 conditions that would allow the court to rule under this law, and one of them includes the idea that damages imposed by the buyer would not remedy the solution. So in other words, if Twitter says, give us $20 million and you don't have to buy the company, and the court agrees, this would be the remedy, and the specific performance argument would be negated. On the other hand, specific performance also has met other conditions, which includes things like, can the buyer actually buy the real estate or the company they offered to buy? Frankly, we really have no enforcement. Even if Twitter wins with a specific performance ruling, what happens if Musk doesn't buy the company? Well, here could be there actually could be possible penalties and even possible prison time. Do you really think they're going to send Musk to prison for not performing the company? I don't think so. I also tried to find histories of people who did not comply with specific performance ruling, and I couldn't find anything. I did, however, come up with the conclusion that suing for specific performance is something that's often threatened to make the other side comply. So basically, Twitter is making this lawsuit to basically force Musk to act one way or another. In my opinion, Musk isn't very scared. So the trial right now is set for September, or proposed to be set for September, and knowing what I know about lawsuits, this will be delayed several times and probably won't even be heard until a year from now. Most likely it'll never actually be heard because the parties will settle anyway. All right, on the other legal front, we have the Three Arrows Capital legal problems. Hey, if you were listening yesterday, I reported that Three Arrows was the Bitcoin hedge fund that is now declaring bankruptcy after it could not meet its obligations to pay back the lenders that helped them leverage their bad crypto deals. Well, yesterday the courts froze the assets of the company to keep the founders of the company from milking the company of any assets they may still have. They're also looking for the founders of the company, Zhu and Davies, whose whereabouts are reported as unknown. Look, I often give people the benefit of the doubt, and I don't actually believe these guys did anything nefarious. You know, they did make millions or billions from running the fund, but still nothing illegal. The fund just went bad due to the crypto craze falling. I believe they're hiding because they're scared. They're scared of death threats they have received. Well, these two cases are going to fascinate me for the next few months. And if anything big breaks from them, you know I'll be sure to let you know. It's like one of my favorite things, right? All right. Wait, let's take a break right now. We will see you guys in a couple of minutes. I'm actually wondering if we're on WWDB yet, but I'm sure that the guy who works there, after he's fired today, probably doesn't care anyway. All right, we'll see you guys in a minute.
Okay, so you thought about buying and selling real estate. You've thought about investing in the stock market, but don't know where to start. Well, what if you could find a place to unlock strategies to master both real estate and the stock market, all without the headache? That place is Investor Schooling, hosted by Larry Steinhouse, an expert in real estate, financial literacy, and the ins and outs of the stock market. You can attend Investor Schooling in person or online 8 times a month. You can and will learn how to make money in real estate, and you will learn mastery of stock techniques such as options and covered calls. You will even get a chance to ask one of your burning questions to the stock options sultan, the master of picks and plays. Call 866-424-2829 for free information and receive a complimentary pass to attend classes, or register online at investorschooling.com. Don't delay. These passes are limited. So what are you waiting for? Call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829. Or visit investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com.
All right, welcome back to Money Chat Now. I'm your host, Larry Steinhouse. And of course, if you'd like more information on investor schooling, you can go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829. Hey, I want to thank all the people who tried to listen on WWDB Radio AM this morning. And I promise you this will be taken care of in the future because I will be not paying WWDB anymore until they fire this guy. Hey, if you're watching online, please hit that share button so you can help your friends learn about how to make more money. Hit that like button and let me know you enjoy the show. You can also leave comments on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and of course, I'll try to respond to them. A couple of people are finding some interesting. Just so you know, Tommy, it won't show up my Facebook page anymore. It has to be only in the Money Chat Now page because Facebook has me in Facebook jail. So peanut butter is also having a tough time. It sounds like people are getting a tough time with peanut butter, and a couple of people saying hi. I just want to make sure I say hi to them. We got James and Mark and John and Glenn and Mark, Cheryl, of course. And of course, we got Seth, and we got my wife, Linda. Thank you, Linda. And we got Dan and Tom and Bill and James. Thanks so much. I totally appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. All right, let's talk a little bit about what's going to go on today and what's happening in the market real quick. So far, of course, as you know, we talked about the recap. We talked about the latest on Twitter and 3 Arrow. And let's get into another topic, which we'll be talking about the Fool and the Sheik. And of course, we'll be talking about pre-earnings follies and today's picks and plays. But I want you guys to do me a favor. Everybody hit the share button, hit the like button, so we can all share this with your friends and let everybody know what's going on. I'm so confused because, I have this here headset and it's the feed from WWDB, and because I'm not getting the feed from WWDB, I'm confused. So that's the way it is. Anyway, look up Money Chat Now when you get home. Let me know what you think of the show. And before we start the second half, have you guys ordered my new book yet? Hey, go wherever fine books are sold and look up Money Hacks Now by Larry. Money Hacks Now. Oh boy, it's a tough day. You can get it on Kindle. You can get it on Nook right now, and the physical book will be ordered, and you'll actually have it in about a week. Yeah, I know. Thanks, Tom. At least YouBoob is working. So, I'm thrown off Facebook. I'm thrown off WWDB because the guy is a fool over there. And then once again, I don't know, whatever. All right, let's get into the second half. Let's talk about the Fool and the Sheik. I appropriately named this story, of course, the Fool and the Sheik. Can you guess who I'm talking about? That's right. Biden is visiting Saudi Arabia with a hearty agenda. I'm not sure whether to laugh here or cry here. I'm going to get into the purpose of the trip, but can you imagine this dementia patient trying to negotiate anything with anyone, especially a sheik? I mean, really, this guy needs to get back on his tricycle and go negotiate with his mommy figure, Jill, to have her buy him some ice cream. Or maybe even a breakfast taco. Now, let's get to his agenda. It's all about gas prices. So instead of opening the pipeline here in the United States or allowing the land leases to be reasonable, this idiot is actually going to beg for more oil from the people who realize that the oil on their land gives them all the power, because the dumbass president here who will drill for it on our own land is the problem. But don't be fooled, brain-dead Biden actually has another agenda as well. He actually stated that he's going to try there to negotiate protection for Israel. Really? Can you imagine that conversation? I tried to make a joke conversation here, but anything I imply isn't even close to how bad that conversation would go. End of quote. Repeat the line. Even the one criminal, even the one of the criminal general that leads our country, so one of the criminal generals that lead our country, Adam Schiff, yeah, let's try to say it the right way, is against Biden going there. Schiff actually said, I wouldn't go, I wouldn't shake his hand. Wow, Schiff is one of the leaders of the cabal that's destroying this nation, and even he disagrees with this meeting. By the way, this is just another broken campaign promise by the liar in chief. While campaigning in 2019, Biden vowed to treat the Saudi kingdom as the pariah as they are. End of quote. And as president, he vocally criticized the country's human rights abuses. So now he's going there to beg them for oil when he doesn't have to, and he's making a fool of himself and putting this country at an even weaker position. I would say the world is laughing at us right now, but with leaders like Macron, Johnson, and Trudeau around the world, the only ones laughing are the Saudis, the Russians, and China, of course. If you compare the strength of what the United States used to be to now, it's like watching a great man who used to have great power that is now living in a nursing home wondering what day it is. This country is doomed. By the way, if Biden pooped his pants when he met the Pope, can you imagine what happens when he meets the Sheik? Check out some of these earlier interactions with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. In March, it was reported that he actually refused to take any calls from Biden as the foolish Biden pleaded with Gulf states to increase oil production after banning Russian oil imports. And in an early March interview with The Atlantic, when the Crown Prince asked what he thought of Biden, whether he thought Biden misunderstood him, the Crown Prince replied, simply, I don't care. It's up to him to think about the interests of America. Biden should take the Crown Prince's advice and think about the interests of America instead of his own agenda. Most of America and most of the world thinks this visit is a waste of time at best and will most likely lead to a weakening position by America. I wouldn't be surprised if Biden flies all the way over there, by the way, burning millions of gallons of gasoline, of fuel, and is met with a door slamming in his face. What has happened to this country? It's just amazing to me. All right, let's talk about the pre-earnings follies. Hey, I often say that fake news was invented in the stock market. Look, I have found so many times that news articles released about publicly traded companies with volatile stocks are often manipulated by fake news articles, and it often happens right before earnings announcements. This is done to lower the stock price to allow the money managers to sweep in and buy the stock cheap before earnings and make a profit into earnings. With that being said, check out this story about Meta. Meta, as you know, is of course the company that was formerly known as Facebook, and the headline in the story released today reads like this. So here's the headline. Facebook cuts hundreds of custodial jobs after ending contract with facility management vendor. Gasp! Oh my goodness! Facebook is cutting staff! Oh no, that can't be good! At least that's what you would believe from the headlines, right? The article continues and says more than 350 workers will lose their jobs this month, according to documents filed with the state of California. Then the article also states that Facebook is facing slowing growth from its core advertising business. This last piece of information, I should say, is old news just being rehashed into the article. The article makes you believe that Meta is so desperate to save money that they're going to make their key employees clean bathrooms and take out the trash. Think about it. If they're firing all the maintenance staff, as this article would make you believe, who else is going to unclog the toilets? I have a suggestion. How about the fact checkers? They're used to swimming in, by the way, I can actually say it because we're not on the radio. They're used to swimming in bullshit anyway. Ugh, I can't say the word on the radio, but I just said it here because, hey, I'm not on the radio right now because WWDB is asleep at the switch. Anyway, the real truth is that they canceled their contract with the vendor who they outsourced the service to. This may have been done for many reasons that could include they negotiated a better contract with somebody, or they decided to hire full-time employees to do the same job and are no longer looking to outsource the service. Oh no, this report may mean that I'm a fact checker. Oh, I better go check my toilets. Meta stock moved up a few dimes yesterday, and today in pre-market it hardly moved at all. But if the stock gets beaten down by this silly article, I highly suggest you look at it as a buying opportunity, because it really will be. Meta has their earnings being released on the 27th along with Amazon the same day, and the next 2 weeks will be interesting, especially for the stock options traders. Before we take a break, by the way, we're opening our advertising to this show to businesses that might benefit from the audience. We have a lot of audience on social media, and sometimes we actually have an audience on WWDB when they're there. But if you'd like to take advantage of this advertising, please reach out and let us know. Hey, let's take a break here, and I'll see you guys in a minute. Hi, I'm Larry Steinhouse, and I've written a book called Money Hacks. The subtitle to this book is Because Everything You Think You Know About Money is Wrong, and I promise you there are things you think about money that are wrong. There are chapters in this book that I think you will find absolutely fascinating, and some of them are, what is money anyway? Can money buy happiness? I'll bet you don't know the answer to that question. The truth about credit scores, how you can actually use credit cards to rebuild your credit. I also have chapters on being your own bank, how to buy houses with an IRA, and how to invest with other people's money. There are so many other chapters. There are 22 total chapters in this book, and I promise you're going to learn how to make more money and pay less taxes when you buy this book. My name is Larry Steinhouse. The name of the book is Money Hacks. You can get this book wherever fine books are sold, and you can go to barnesandnoble.com right now and pre-order it. I hope that you will enjoy it. Back to Money Chat Now. I'm your host, Larry Steinhouse, and of course, if you'd like to replace that last commercial with one of your own, let me know. And if you want to, we'll definitely be able to put that up. But don't forget to order the book and leave a review. So if you ordered the book and you read it, please leave a review for me. Go to barnesandnoble.com or Amazon and please leave a review. All right. So far, we've been discussing, of course, the recap and the update, and, it's kind of interesting day yesterday. We also talked about Twitter, and we also talked about 3 Hours Capital, so that was an interesting thing, too. So if you want to go back and read that as well, you can do, or watch that again, you can do that as well. And, of course, we talked about the fact that, Biden is meeting with the Saudis, and that's going to be a complete waste. Coming up, we have today's picks and plays, but did you guys hit that like button? So everybody hit that like button. I got a couple of people leaving me some really funny comments today, so they're really enjoying the show. I think my favorite comment so far is by Tommy. He says, oh no, we're going to be pumping the strategic reserve and shipping it to Saudi Arabia. Of course. Well, let's take our strategic reserve. We shipped it to China. We might as well ship it to Saudi Arabia, right? All right. If you guys want to share it, please share this information in groups, and you can also leave comments on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or YouTube. And I don't even know if I want to say if you're listening on WWDB Radio, because obviously you can't. So, whatever. Maybe tomorrow I'll let you guys know if we fired them or not, because we're not fired WWDB. We're going to fire the engineer who's on Wednesdays because he's always late or he doesn't show up. So, Sam Spicer, if you don't fire this guy, you're not getting paid anymore. All right, let's talk about some great tips for the day. As I said earlier, it's all about the Consumer Price Index report today. We need the sweet spot. It can't come in too high and it can't come in too low or the market's going to tank. At 8:30, the announcement will be made, and then all hell is going to break loose if it isn't just right. It's the beginning of earnings season, and the most notable earnings of the day is Delta Airlines, who will announce earnings shortly. So we may even get that right before the show, or you'll get it real soon. If it's good, it'll be a good sign for airline industry, as I expect the earnings report to be a good one. This may also boost the travel industry as a whole, and I'm looking forward to that report. Tomorrow is Bank Day. We will have J.P. Morgan Chase and Schwab reporting, and that will be the kickoff for sure. Those earnings reports often tell the whole story. So when the earnings reports come tomorrow, we're going to be looking for a good story tomorrow if if those earning reports are good. And if they're not so good, well, we're going to go into the rest of the week, and it's going to be a pretty lousy week. All right, let's take a look at the final look at the Dow right now. We got the Dow actually up 93 points. We also have the S&P up 17, and we have the NASDAQ up 79, which means right now that Wall Street thinks that it might be a good report, but I don't know. But don't forget that at 8:30, it's all going to change when the CPI report is released. You don't even need to look at the report. Just look at CNBC or wherever it is you get your data from for the Dow and the S&P, and if they fly up, the CPI report was in the sweet spot. If they fly down, we have a problem, and it's going to be an issue in the future. All right, on the crypto scene, Bitcoin is hovering below the 20,000 mark, and that's pretty much what I said it was going to be. It's right around 19,700. I still think it's going to go down to about 12,000, 13,000, and that's where it's going to stay for a little while. So I'm not a big fan of it right now. I'd stay far away from it. Ethereum is also on the edge of 1,100, and I think that's going to go down to 700. And it's not going to take long before this happens. I'm going to say another month or two before this happens. But gold and silver are really starting to remind me of crypto with how poorly they're performing. Silver is below 19 now. It's below 19. I mean, come on. It looks like it might be a bargain soon, but below 19, yike. So the Treasury bond poked its head above 3, and and then it kind of dropped down. So the Treasury bond is back down. I got to tell you that oil is now about $96 a barrel. So maybe with Biden going to whatever, Saudi Arabia, maybe they're so scared they're lowering the prices. But average gas price moved down to about $4.63 a gallon. Isn't it amazing that we're saying, oh, I'm so excited that gas is now $4.63 a gallon? Oh. Let's go, Brandon. All right, I want to thank you all for your continued support. I want to thank you for watching the show. I want to thank you for listening. And please reach out. Let us know what you think of the show. My name is Larry Steinhouse. I am the host of Money Chat Now, and I am the CEO of Investor Schooling. Hey, by the way, you can reach me if you want to. You can contact me directly by going to contactlarry.com. That's contactlarry.com. And, of course, if you'd like to advertise on our show, we are definitely looking forward to that. We think we can help you promote and whatever product it is. All right. I want you all to watch that CPI report and make it a profitable day.